There comes a time in your life when you realize that not everything deserves your attention, not everyone deserves your energy, and not every battle is worth fighting. The world can be loud, chaotic, and constantly pulling you in 1,000 directions, but peace, your peace, is sacred. And when you learn to protect it, you begin to see just how powerful you truly are. Protecting your peace isn't about avoiding people or running from challenges. It's about choosing what deserves space in your heart. It's about knowing when to speak and when silence becomes your greatest response. It's about guarding your energy like the priceless gift it is, because whatever you give power to grows. Today, I want to remind you, not everything that asks for your attention is worthy of your response. You are the gatekeeper of your own energy. And when you begin to protect your peace, you start to elevate your life. Protecting your peace means mastering the art of emotional boundaries. It is one of the most powerful lessons you will ever learn, because the moment you understand that not everyone deserves access to your emotions, your energy, and your time, you begin to reclaim your power. Life constantly throws situations, people, and expectations your way, and if you don't know how to guard your emotional space, you will find yourself drained, confused, and disconnected from who you really are. Emotional boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They help you decide what enters your life and what must stay outside. When you master emotional boundaries, you stop allowing the world to dictate your mood. You no longer respond to every insult, every misunderstanding, or every demand that tries to steal your calm. You start to understand that not everything deserves your reaction. You start to value your peace more than your need to prove a point. It takes strength to stay calm when everything around you is trying to pull you into chaos. It takes wisdom to walk away from situations that once had the power to break you. Sometimes protecting your peace means saying no, even when it disappoints others. It means recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot show up for everyone else if you're constantly abandoning yourself. There will be people who misunderstand your silence, who call you distant or cold. But you must remember, your peace is not up for negotiation. Setting emotional boundaries is not about shutting people out. It's about honoring yourself enough to know where your limits are. It's about knowing when to step back, when to breathe, and when to let go. You will notice that when you start setting boundaries, people who benefit from your lack of them will resist. They will test your limits, question your choices, and try to make you feel guilty for putting yourself first. But this is where your strength is tested, not by how loud you argue, but by how calmly you stand your ground. You will realize that peace is not about being liked, it's about being aligned with your truth. When you respect yourself enough to define what you will and will not accept, you start attracting people who respect you too. Boundaries teach others how to treat you. If you constantly allow disrespect, interruptions, or emotional manipulation, that becomes your standard. But the moment you draw the line, the moment you say no more, you create space for better energy to flow into your life. It's a silent declaration that you are no longer available for chaos. Protecting your peace requires you to be mindful of the environments you step into, the conversations you engage in, and the thoughts you entertain. There will always be noise, always opinions, always situations that test your calm. But you have the power to decide what enters your inner world. You have the right to protect your space from negativity, from comparison, from unnecessary conflict. You don't owe anyone constant access to your emotions. You owe yourself the peace that comes from living with intention. Protecting your peace is not about isolation, it's about self-preservation. It's about creating a life where you can breathe deeply without feeling the weight of everyone else's chaos on your shoulders. When you choose peace, you choose yourself. And that choice will always lead you closer to the life you truly deserve. Your energy attracts your experiences. Guard it with intention. The energy you carry within you shapes everything that unfolds around you. It influences the people you meet, the opportunities that find you, and even the challenges that cross your path. Energy is not just emotion, it's vibration, frequency, and mindset. When you wake up each day with a heart full of gratitude and a mind focused on growth, you begin to attract peace, abundance, and clarity. But when your energy is scattered, when you're though, your emotional energy is a form of currency, and where you spend it determines what kind of life you live. Spend it wisely. Don't waste it on arguments that lead nowhere, on relationships that drain you, or on guilt that serves no purpose. Spend it on growth, on joy, on silence, on gratitude. The more you honor your boundaries, the more peace you create within yourself. You begin to realize that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. It's how you keep your mind clear, your spirit light, and your purpose strong. Youths are consumed by fear, anger, or doubt. You unknowingly open the door for chaos to enter your life. That's why guarding your energy is not just about self-care, it's about self-mastery. The truth is, everything and everyone carries energy. You can feel it when you walk into a room. You can sense it in a conversation. You can tell when something feels heavy or when something feels aligned. Learning to protect your energy means becoming aware of these subtle vibrations and choosing consciously where you place your focus. It means no longer allowing toxic conversations, draining relationships, or negative environments to influence how you feel about yourself or your journey. The more intentional you are with your energy, the more peace you attract into your space. Guarding your energy starts with awareness. It starts with observing how you feel after being around certain people or after engaging in certain habits. Some interactions will leave you inspired and alive, while others will leave you empty and anxious. Listen to that feeling. It's your spirit's way of guiding you toward what nourishes you and away from what depletes you. You have the right to walk away from anything that feels heavy. You have the right to say no to anything that disturbs your peace. Protecting your energy doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise enough to understand that your light cannot shine in spaces that thrive on darkness. There will be moments when life challenges your energy, when unexpected problems arise, when people project their frustrations onto you, or when your goals take longer than expected to manifest. In those moments, guarding your energy means staying grounded in your truth. It means refusing to let temporary circumstances shift your inner state. You may not control what happens around you, but you always control how you respond. Your energy is your responsibility. No one else can manage it for you. When you guard your energy, you begin to notice how much more intentional your actions become. You stop chasing things that don't align with your purpose. You stop entertaining conversations that lower your vibration. You start speaking life into your goals and gratitude into your days. You start realizing that peace isn't something you find by accident. It's something you create through discipline. It's in the morning silence before the world wakes up, in the small moments where you choose calm over chaos, and in the decisions where you choose growth over gossip. Your energy determines your reality. The universe mirrors what you give. When you radiate positivity, compassion, and focus, you attract opportunities that reflect those same qualities. But when you hold on to bitterness, resentment, or doubt, you end up replaying the same painful cycles over and over again. This is why guarding your energy is sacred work. It shapes the very direction of your life. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every emotion you nurture sends out a vibration that returns to you multiplied. Guarding your energy also means protecting your time. Time and energy are deeply connected. Where your time goes, your energy flows. If you spend hours scrolling through negativity, comparing your life to others, or engaging in distractions, you'll feel drained no matter how much rest you get. But when you spend that same time creating, learning, or simply being still, you'll feel renewed. Energy flows where attention goes. Be mindful of where yours is going. Sometimes, protecting your energy means walking alone for a while. It means detaching from the noise and rediscovering what peace feels like. It's in those quiet moments that your energy realigns, your vision clears, and your spirit strengthens. Not everyone will understand your need for solitude, but that's okay. Your journey isn't meant to be understood by everyone. It's meant to be lived by you with purpose, clarity, and intention. Because when you guard your energy, you guard your destiny. Excellence is not weakness. It's the language of inner strength. There is a quiet kind of power that comes from knowing you don't need to respond to everything, that you don't need to explain yourself to everyone, and that not every battle requires your voice. Silence is often misunderstood as surrender, but in truth is one of the highest forms of control. When you learn to be still in moments of chaos, you begin to understand that real power doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, it doesn't demand to be seen. It simply exists unshaken and certain. Silence allows you to rise above noise, to listen deeper, and to act from clarity rather than emotion. In a world that constantly demands reaction, silence becomes your weapon of peace. People will provoke you, situations will tempt you, and life will test your patience. But strength lies in restraint. When you choose silence over reaction, you're not avoiding confrontation, you're choosing to protect your energy. You're saying, my peace is more valuable than proving a point. It takes great maturity to respond with silence when every part of you wants to speak. But when you do, you begin to notice how much power lies in the pause. The pause between the noise and your response is where wisdom lives. Silence gives you perspective. It allows you to see beyond the surface, to feel beyond the emotion, and to respond with intention rather than impulse. When you are silent, you can hear the truth that words often cover. You can feel the weight of your own emotions before they turn into reactions. Most people fear silence because it forces them to confront themselves. It brings them face to face with their thoughts, their insecurities, their truths. But when you learn to sit in silence without fear, you start to connect with your own strength on a deeper level. You realize that peace isn't found in noise, but in stillness. There is dignity in silence. There is wisdom in knowing when words will heal and when they will only add fuel to the fire. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Not every misunderstanding needs your explanation. Sometimes the best way to protect your peace is to let your silence speak for you, because silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you understand that energy is precious and that not everyone deserves access to yours. You don't need to fight every battle to prove your worth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away without saying a word. When you embrace silence, you also learn to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. You begin to hear your intuition more clearly, to recognize what feels right and what doesn't. The answers you seek often come not through speaking, but through listening. Silence reconnects you to your inner voice, that calm and steady guide that knows what you truly need. It's in moments of stillness that you find clarity, that your thoughts begin to settle, and that your energy begins to align. You start to move with intention, not emotion. People may mistake your silence for weakness, but they will soon realize it's strength disguised in calmness, because silence is not about avoiding confrontation, it's about mastering your response. It's about standing in your truth so firmly that you no longer need to convince anyone of it. You let your actions, your peace, and your growth do the speaking. Silence builds character, it teaches discipline. It shows that you have learned to prioritize what truly matters, not ego, not validation, but peace. And when you reach that level of control, nothing external can disturb your inner world. Silence becomes your protection, your wisdom, and your quiet declaration that you are in control of yourself. Let go of what drains you so you can rise into what sustains you. Life has a way of filling your hands with things that look important but quietly steal your peace. It can be people who no longer align with your growth, habits that keep you small, thoughts that replay old pain, or responsibilities that no longer serve your purpose. The truth is, you cannot elevate while holding on to what was meant to be released. Letting go isn't failure, it's freedom. It's the moment you stop fighting. There is also healing in silence. When you withdraw from noise and return to stillness, your mind finds space to process, your heart finds room to breathe, and your spirit finds the strength to reset. You begin to understand that not everything deserves a reaction, and that not every moment needs to be filled with words. Silence teaches you patience. It teaches you how to wait, how to observe, and how to let life unfold without trying to control every outcome. For things that keep you stuck, and start choosing the things that give you life. Every day, your energy is being pulled in different directions. You pour into conversations, jobs, relationships, and dreams, but sometimes you find yourself giving to things that no longer give back. You feel it when your spirit feels heavy, when your motivation fades, when your peace starts slipping away. That's your inner voice whispering that something needs to change. Letting go doesn't always mean walking away dramatically. Sometimes it's a quiet shift in focus, a decision to stop watering what no longer grows. You begin to reclaim your energy by choosing not to chase, not to explain, not to force. What drains you may not always be obvious. It can be a friendship that constantly pulls you into drama, a routine that keeps you comfortable but stagnant, or a mindset that keeps repeating stories of fear and limitation. The more you hold on to these things, the heavier your spirit becomes. Growth requires release. You cannot move forward if your heart is anchored to what hurts you. You cannot rise if you're constantly weighed down by guilt, resentment, or the need to please everyone. There comes a point where peace matters more than attachment. You learn that some things must end so that better things can begin. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about making space for clarity, for joy, for new beginnings. It's about creating room for what truly nourishes your soul. Sometimes you have to close one door so another can open. And yes, that process can be uncomfortable. It can feel lonely. It can even feel wrong. But the truth is, holding on to things that drain you is far more painful than the temporary discomfort of release. You cannot heal in the same environment that hurt you. You cannot expand in a space that demands you to shrink. There is strength in knowing when something no longer serves you. It takes courage to look at your life honestly and say, this is no longer helping me grow. It takes awareness to recognize the patterns that keep repeating and the people who keep taking more than they give. And it takes faith to believe that letting go will not leave you empty, but open. When you finally release what drains you, you make room for what truly belongs. You attract peace instead of pressure, purpose instead of confusion, alignment instead of chaos. Letting go is also about releasing emotional clutter. The anger, the resentment, the grudges that quietly poison your peace. Carrying emotional baggage keeps you tied to moments that no longer exist. Every time you replay a painful memory or relive an argument in your mind, you're giving energy to something that cannot be changed. Forgiveness becomes a powerful act of letting go, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You set yourself free from the chains of the past. You must also learn to let go of perfection, the constant need to control every outcome. Life unfolds in ways that often don't make sense until much later. Sometimes the things you lose are not punishments, but redirections. What you think you're losing is often clearing space for something far greater. Trust the process. Trust that by releasing what no longer serves you, you're aligning yourself with what truly will. When you let go of what drains you, you begin to rise differently. Your mind feels lighter, your heart softer, your focus sharper. You begin to see possibilities where before there was only exhaustion. You start surrounding yourself with people and experiences that pour into you, that match your energy, that remind you of your worth. And as you rise, you realize that peace was never about adding more. It was about learning to release, to surrender, and to finally breathe in the freedom that comes with choosing yourself. Peace is not found. It's created, protected, and nourished daily. Many people spend their lives searching for peace as if it's hidden somewhere outside of them, waiting to be discovered. But peace is not a destination, it's a practice. It's something you build within yourself, piece by piece, through the choices you make and the mindset you nurture every single day. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, what you value, and what you will no longer allow. Peace is intentional. It doesn't appear on its own, it's cultivated through awareness, discipline, and self-respect. Creating peace begins with clarity. You cannot live peacefully if your mind is filled with confusion and your life cluttered with chaos. Peace requires you to know what truly matters to you. It asks you to let go of unnecessary distractions, to simplify and to align your actions with your values. When your outer world reflects your inner calm, life begins to flow more effortlessly. But that flow doesn't come by accident. It comes from consistent effort, choosing calm over chaos, choosing understanding over reaction, choosing yourself over noise. Peace is something you protect because once you begin to create it, the world will constantly try to take it away. You'll face negativity, drama, expectations, and endless demands for your attention. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries around your time, your energy, and your emotions. It means being selective about what you engage with and who you allow into your space. You start to realize that peace and access are connected. Not everyone deserves access to your heart, your mind, or your presence. Protecting your peace is an act of strength, not isolation. It's choosing to honor your well-being over external approval. Peace also requires nourishment. It's not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment to feed your soul with what keeps you grounded. That nourishment can come from silence, prayer, reflection, movement, or gratitude. It comes from doing things that center you, not because the world demands it, but because your spirit does. When you nourish your peace, you begin to recognize the difference between temporary pleasure and lasting fulfillment. You stop chasing validation and start embracing stillness. You understand that peace doesn't come from what you have. It comes from how deeply you are connected to yourself. There will be days when your peace feels fragile, when stress, noise, and uncertainty surround you. Those are the moments. that test how much you've truly grown. Will you let the world pull you into its chaos, or will you stand still in your calm? Peace doesn't mean your life will be perfect. It means you've developed the inner strength to remain steady even when life feels unstable. It's the quiet awareness that you can't control everything around you, but you can control what's happening within you. Creating peace also means taking responsibility for your emotions. You can't wait for others to behave a certain way before you feel calm. You must decide to remain centered regardless of what others do. It's not always easy, but it's freeing. You stop giving your power away to circumstances, to opinions, or to outcomes. You learn to return to yourself whenever you feel pulled away. You breathe, you pause, you realign. That's how you keep your peace alive, by coming back to it again and again. Nourishing peace is also about perspective. The way you view situations determines how much power they have over you. You can see challenges as obstacles or as opportunities to grow. You can see waiting as frustration or as preparation. The mindset you choose shapes the quality of your peace. Gratitude becomes your anchor. When you focus on what's right instead of what's missing, you start to experience peace not as a fleeting emotion, but as a constant presence. Every morning gives you a choice to start with stress or to start with stillness. Every conversation gives you a chance to react or to respond with grace. Every challenge gives you a moment to protect your peace or to let it slip away. It's a daily practice, a gentle discipline of choosing calm over chaos, alignment over reaction, purpose over pressure. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. The more you protect it, the longer it lasts. Peace is built, guarded, and fed from within. And the moment you understand that, you realize that no matter what happens outside, the calm you've created inside will always be yours.